We've spent 7 episodes diagnosing the problem. Today, we talk about what to actually do about it. I'm Anne-Marie Hurk, Executive Crisis Readiness Advisor. My work sits at the intersection of crisis readiness and governance, specifically decision authority under pressure. This series asked one question: can your organization function without you? And after 7 episodes, the Disney test, the hero trap, key person risk, decision authority under absence, governance drift, and the 24-hour thought experiment, as well as the family test, I want to be direct about what the series has actually been about. It hasn't been about vacation. It has been about whether your organization is genuinely resilient or quietly dependent. And if it's dependent on you, a hero, an unofficial decision maker, on institutional memory that lives someone else's rather than in your governance structure, what to do about it. So here what actually matters. 4 things. Not a framework, not a methodology, 4 practical things that determine whether decision continuity holds when it needs to. First, delegated authority that is written down and communicated, not assumed, not informal, documented, specific, and confirmed. The people who need to act in your absence need to know clearly, explicitly, what they are authorized to decide. If that conversation hasn't happened in writing, it hasn't fully happened. Second, escalation paths that don't dead end at one person. Map where decisions go when the obvious person is unavailable. Then map whether they go if that person is unavailable. If both paths lead back to you, you haven't built an escalation path. You've built a loop. Third, documentation that lives outside individual heads. The institutional knowledge that makes your organization run, the context, the history, the judgment calls that inform decisions, needs to exist somewhere accessible. Not because people are leaving, because people are human. They get sick, they travel, they have bad days, and the organization needs to function anyway. Fourth, a governance review that happens before a crisis reveals the gaps, not after. The worst time to discover that your authority map doesn't match reality is in the first 20 minutes of a serious incident. By then, you're not doing governance work, you're doing damage control. For organizations working towards CMMC compliance, these 4 things are not optional enhancements. They're baseline requirements: documented authority, communicated roles, repeatable processes, accountable decisions with a paper trail. CMMC isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be documented, repeatable, and accountable. Governance continuity is how you get there, and it's work that serves you well beyond the assessment. And from a crisis readiness standpoint, which is where I live, the first 20 minutes of any serious incident will tell you everything you need to know about whether your governance structure actually holds. A breach, a regulatory action, a synthetic media attack on your leadership, a supply chain failure. In those first 20 minutes, the decisions that get made by whom, with what authority, and how they get documented, that's the test. You don't want to be building your governance structure during that test. So start with the Disney test. Ask yourself honestly whether your organization can function for 7 days without you. Follow the hesitation. Find where the dependencies are concentrated. Look at the gap between your official authority map and the one that actually runs your organization. That gap is where the work is. If you've watched this series and you're ready to understand where your specific gaps are before crisis service, then for you, that's exact the conversation I have with executives and teams. You can find me at mindthegapcyber.com or just simply reach out directly. The first conversation costs nothing because the cost of finding the gaps after the fact is always higher than finding them before. Thank you for spending these 8 episodes with me. Now, go take a real vacation.